Welcome back, tribe. Let's get into it.
Long been criticised by feminists as a symbol of unattainable princess-like perfection. The iconic Mattel doll is now the inspiration for a Hollywood movie, one of the most anticipated of the entire year, capping Barbie's evolution from symbol of the patriarchy to feminist icon.
Barbie's small and so petite.
Barbie has smart new styles for every occasion. For dates with Ken, club meetings, tennis.
We can be the first in outer space.
She went from having a dress for every occasion with Ken to, I don't need Ken, I'm a strong boss, babe. What the?
Meet me at the mall.
Cool.
What you gonna say next? Listen. Do you have a crush on anyone?
Does anybody know how big the brain is? Sophia. It is medium.
Jesus.
Medium.
What's going on? Why are these men looking at me?
Yeah, they're also staring at me.
So, fantastic plastic feminist icon or sexist claptrap. With the movie's outrageously dismissive tagline, she is everything, he is just Ken. Has Barbie actually done a full 180? Is she now anti, not just Ken, but men? Well, I'm joined by Talk TV contributor Esther Cracker, and also by Talk TV presenter Rosanna Lockwood, and also, drum roll, back from the world's longest holiday, by Grace Blakely, our socialist commentator. I love calling you that. Welcome back.
I love being called that.
Welcome back. We've almost missed you.
I have missed you very much as well, obviously.
Don't
Thank
lie.
you for having me.
And you're wearing your Barbie outfit.
I have apparently been told.
And you've
I
gone
look like
blonde
Barbie.
since I last saw you.
You did this on purpose.
I mean, I
You did
can't
this
say
to
that I
seduce
did.
me.
You actually now are. You are now
Honestly,
Barbie.
You did this to seduce me.
That is a massive compliment. Honestly, if I look anything like Margot Robbie, I will take that.
So look, let's start with you then on this, given you come dressed as Barbie. So there are a number of Barbie characters in the movie. Right, one plays President Barbie, one plays Dr. Barbie, one plays a Barbie with a Nobel Prize in physics, one is a mermaid Barbie. However, all the male characters in Barbie world are simply called Ken. So it's pretty clear where this movie is going. This is an assault on not just Ken, but all men.
I mean, I think men in general will have to be a bit kind of snowflakey to suggest they're being assaulted by a Barbie movie. But I kind of think that's besides the point. I mean, I think, you know, the questions that we have around this film, whether or not Barbie is a feminist icon.
Is she?
Actually, well, I think it matters less than the fact that the Barbie franchise has commercialized the feminist critique. So now you can be like, oh, you can feel like a good feminist because you buy a doll for $25.99, or you can feel like a hashtag girl boss because Barbie has a Nobel Prize or Barbie's an entrepreneur. Whereas actually, feminism is rooted in the struggles of ordinary women. It's about the fact that, you know, women often get paid less. It's about the fact that women...
Again, lies. Women don't often get paid less. This has been debunked. The wage gap is debunked already. She's selling snake oil again. Feminism wasn't even about regular, ordinary women. It started in higher academia for women competing with men in PhD and research, things of that nature, where they were being overlooked. At the time, it was a gentleman's club. It was unfair back then. Then it took root into normal society where men and women depend on one another. The family unit depends on a man and a woman coming together, providing the best of both worlds in order to have the best outcome in life, not for just one another, but for a family in general. This is what happens with movements. It started off probably with a good intention. It quickly got taken over. We've seen it happen with, quote, red pill and manosphere, where they're getting clowned on today more than ever, where you have hypocrisy more than ever and grifting more than ever. Same thing with probably this, the gynocracy. It had good intentions for a select few people, and it sprouted its ugly head into this monstrosity we have today that's completely destabilizing society in many facets, dating and family being some of the worst.
Women are on the front line of some of the hardest sectors to work in care, in our healthcare system, in social care. It's about the fact they do so much unpaid labor
How many
in the
female
household.
bricklayers do you know?
I mean,
Or female bin cleaners?
Great question.
What are you talking
love
about?
Great question. Have you ever met a female bricklayer?
I don't know.
No, you haven't.
But I
Because
love
they don't
the
exist.
assumption
You
that
made
being
that
a
up.
bricklayer is harder than like caring for the terminally ill and dying.
Have you ever
Like,
been a
those
bricklayer?
are-
And
Oh man, see, This is a perfect encapsulation of how soft and secure the West has become, where this woman with no real world experience on bricklaying or probably nursing just took stats on its face that she read how many women are struggling being nurses and completely just disengages from the other side of the argument of men struggling to lay bricks in the heat, exposed to the natural elements and the physical tax of working with chemicals, with cement, with bricks, with probably being on ladders or high up on multiple storied buildings, whatever goes along with bricklaying, versus caring for an elderly patient and your back hurting because you got to lift granny up to change her diaper, you know, and you're complaining about your back hurting. That's a tough job, sis.
In the winter.
But like, have you ever been someone looking after
caretaker?
this
Yes,
family and
yes, I
dying?
actually have. Yes,
like, it's
I have.
obviously
Yes, I
a
have.
very, very challenging job, isn't it?
And it's
like,
not as hard
it's-
as being a bricklayer.
But in what sense? What does that even mean?
Excuse me, you asked me if
Are
I've
we
done it
talking
before.
about-
Oh, I've missed
I
this.
have.
Yeah. Are we talking about whether or not it's physically challenging, emotionally challenging? I mean, there are care workers who are running up and down between houses getting paid less than minimum wage.
No, I
because
get
they're,
that, but you don't make a fortune as a bricklayer either, and you're out in the elements.
I just don't understand
Do you know
why
what? I'm
we're
gonna
using
launch a
these professions
campaign.
against each other. It's a bizarre culture.
Let me try and get one single word in here. So, Rosanna, look, Barbie's jobs include being an astronaut, a surgeon, Olympic athlete, downhill skier, aerobics instructor, TV news reporter, vet, rock star, doctor, army officer, Air Force pilot, summit diplomat, rap musician, presidential candidate, baseball player, scuba diver, lifeguard, firefighter, engineer, dentist,
Wow.
and many more. I mean, she's not a bad feminist icon. She's done everything.
She's had over 200 careers, apparently, since she was first conceived. But, you know,
Is she a feminist icon?
look, when you said unattainable princess, perfect like perfection, this is what you were thinking of. These three women here. who
It's
obviously-
true.
I think all three of us probably...
Perfectly imperfect. Can we settle on that?
we,
Perfectly perfect.
we probably all played with Barbies growing up. I'm going to guess that.
Given Barbie's enormous reach now, given how many different Barbie dolls are out, you can almost have a Barbie doll for any type, whatever. Is she legitimately a feminist icon?
No, I don't think she is, but there are other toys available if
Does
you
she
don't like
need to
her.
be? Why
She
does,
doesn't need to be.
Barbie
It's-
need to be a feminist icon? Why can't girls just play with pretty dolls?
I
mean,
don't
why-
think
why
that she should be a feminist
young girls
icon. I don't think that-
understand anything to do with feminism.
I
They're
don't think
just
that
children.
feminism should be co-opted by massive multinational
Well,
corporations.
that's
that are
fine,
seeking
but I
to-
don't.
Yeah, look, man, the disrespect continues. The tagline is she's everything, he's just Ken. Why are they continuing the narrative that women are superior? Why do they continue the narrative of the bumbling, moron, useless husband? Why can they not see the statistics? Do men need to get beat down and destroyed in every facet until there are no quote masculine men left? Like, what is this? If you're thinking of this from the top down, how do you benefit as an elite from destroying men's abilities to be masculine, to earn for themselves, and to start families? How do you benefit? Okay, well, you create a weakness in the social fabric of society. Then there's less people able to buy houses. You can scoop up more houses. Then their kids can be indoctrinated easier because there's no daddy home, or he's very spineless and weak, doesn't have a backbone, doesn't have a strong opinion, won't stand up for anything. So the kid is free to be indoctrinated. The woman follows herd mentality most of the time because it's in their nature to accept consensus far easier than men. So it's easier to convince a woman to spend money on things, live a certain lifestyle, indoctrinate them into a certain line of thinking. Now, if you weaken men to the point where they're basically whipped by their women, then they fall in line with whatever a woman thinks. So isn't it the easiest way to control a man is by putting him in a precarious situation where he has nothing to live for? No family, no masculinity, no kids, no wife, no house, no land, no hobbies, nothing. He is a consuming worm that lives off video games, anime, porn, and whatever other coping methods that are used today. Sorry for everybody in the comment section that just got hurt by that, but you are using behavioral sinks that were taught and engineered to keep you under control instead of caring about your neighborhood, caring about your town, your state, and your country at large, your neighbor, thy brother, because you have nothing to care about. You have no skin in the game. It's different when you're a family man and you want to make sure the world around you is safe for your woman and your children. Why fight and die for nothing? Better yet, why fight and die for a society that tells you you're useless, that you're just a man, that you're not important whatsoever, that you're actually inherently evil, that there's toxic masculinity, and you need to check your privilege in the so-called patriarchy that we live in. Is it a surprise why the world is heading in the direction it's heading in today? Is it a surprise that we're more tolerant than ever of absolutely everything, which means we have nothing to stand for? Here is the empire falling. It started with the attack on men, and it gets completed, the coup de grace, where you convince women they don't need men either.
I don't think young girls even need to learn about feminism.
But Grace, what about if it's shaping the way young girls are growing up? That's what.
Well, I mean, I think this is the problem people have with feminism. This is why we end up having all these debates about like, oh, you know, feminism doesn't account for the struggles of ordinary people and it's just like very rich and wealthy women at the top of companies saying, I want more money. It's because feminism, which is actually a critique of capitalism, in part, has been taken over by big multinational corporations who basically say, look, we have 3 women on our board, so the gender struggle is over. And it's just, this is a symptom of a wider problem.
All right, you mentioned gender. The Bank of England says anyone can get pregnant of any gender identity. They've offered to help staff to pay for gender reassignment treatment.
There's what I'm talking about. So tolerant that you almost look insane. Any gender can get pregnant. Or the community post we did where now, in order to appease a certain group, you have to refer to women as having bonus holes. That's right. Bonus holes.
Now, this has all been going on in your absence ad nauseum, some might think, this whole gender debate. But this concept that anyone of any gender identity can become pregnant is obviously ludicrous.
I mean, I'm going to start before even opening up into this discussion, talking about, yes, I've been away for 9 months and I've come back and watched how our entire political debate has become dominated by this tiny, tiny fringe issue. We have this massive moral panic over an issue that affects so few people.
It's not a fringe
while
issue.
The climate is literally like the...
Again, she's going to... I haven't seen this. It sounds like she's going to piggyback that statement with climate's more important. Why are we talking about gender? Again, minimized the issue. This is in the mainstream. This is affecting everybody. If you burn a flag, if you say something, if you hurt someone's feelings, if you don't affirm a certain somebody, it could be labeled a hate crime today, especially in certain parts of the world. And it's starting to become a reality in parts of America as well. There have been cases where parents have lost their kids to the state because they didn't affirm their kids. This is a fact. The state came and took their kids. It's considered abuse in the home that you didn't affirm your kid's identity. You can look this up. This is not minor. This is being pushed everywhere. It is the talk, and I expect it in American politics. It will probably be one major point of discussion, this ideology, in the coming election.
Earth is
you can care about the climate, and you
while
can
there's a massive cost of living crisis going
on.
I was honestly just shocked that this is what we're talking about.
You can care about the climate, and you can also care about the full frontal attack on the integrity of women's sport because of transgender athletes. You can care about men rapists being put into female prisons. That cost Nicola Sturgeon her job, by the way. You can care about all those issues too.
And yet,
I would have thought you would have come back and gone, you know what, I've seen the light beers. You're right about this.
And yet, this is what we're talking about.
I think
there is a reason that we are talking about this issue rather than the Bank of England just raised interest rates. That's going to mean that millions of families are not going to be able to repay their debt, repay their loans. They're going to be pushed into poverty. And here we are talking about some, absurd thing about whether or not...
I think you've just hit the nail on the head, because shouldn't the Bank of England be more concerned with bringing down inflation rates than, offering the...
I'm sure this was just some sort of random thing that was...
No, it's not random.
That's
Rosanna, hang on. Bring in Rosanna.
Random bit.
Our economics expert.
If you look at the crux of the issue, this was actually probably a freedom of information request. Stonewall, the Bank of England applied to Stonewall to say, we want to be in your top 100 list of diversity and inclusion sort of index thing. This was last year they made this application. The information has only been revealed now. And I would say that is the Telegraph and other papers capitalising on the argument that the Bank of England has lax monetary policy, and they're trying to make the argument that they've been too focused on diversity and inclusion.
Playing up to cultural
But let's be clear. Look,
and the woke brigade.
Yeah, but look, you can have 120,000 genders, as many as you like. Only women can get pregnant.
But
that's just a biological fact. Only women get pregnant. You can have as many gender debates as you want. You can feel like a mouse for all I care. But you can't actually pretend anyone other than a biological female can have a baby.
Yeah, sure. Only people who are born women can get pregnant.
You accept
people who are born women can also become men.
Not become,
and
they can identify.
Oh my God.
Also legitimately become mothers.
No, they can't
happens all the time.
They
Anyone
can't
can
become men.
They can.
No, biological men are biological men.
Yeah, I mean, if
They
you are
can be
born a
trans.
woman, you can become
They can
a
be
trans
they
man.
can be a trans man. That's something on that. Why do we have to change
I mean,
everything?
I agree. I made this point to you like years ago, and I thought we kind of settled it. You know, you have cis women and trans women and cis men and trans men. We don't have to get all up in arms about all this stuff. It just doesn't matter that much.
I'm so glad you do still get up in arms about this. I really miss this. Esther, I mean...
I don't know why they keep relabeling everything. Like, I don't like being called a cis. I'm not a cis. I'm just a man. You have to keep your term as a transitioned man because that's what you are. I'm just a man. Baseline man. I'm not a cis. That was another term invented. Again, to change the definition and the new norm, the reality, because calling somebody a man and a woman at its baseline implies assigned at birth, implies something natural. So we have to call something cis and trans. You know, I'm over the doublespeak. I'm over the redefining terms, changing language to suit a narrative, an identity, forever putting us in little boxes so that we're constantly bickering and fighting with one another and never going towards the center for a pragmatic answer to all our issues. We're just becoming more and more radicalized. Voting is becoming more radicalized. People are moving in certain states based on certain policies, becoming more radicalized and tribal in nature. Where does this lead us? It's nowhere good. We can't even sit down and have conversations. People can't even talk politics in their own family anymore. This is not good for the country. They've always said the only way to destroy America, the only way to destroy Western culture is from within, poisoning the well from within. That's the only way. This is the greatest country on earth, the most powerful nation to ever exist. Untold wealth, opportunity, and riches can be had here. All it takes is a little drive, ambition, and thinking out of the box. Yet that's all being ripped apart by a percentage of the population that makes up a minuscule amount of people. Yet somehow they hold this much power and nobody stops to think, why?